Lane Frost stepped into the arena as veteran cowboys whispered, "That kid won't survive the pressure." The 24-year-old adjusted his hat, staring at Red Rock, a bull that had crushed 309 riders. What happened in the next 8 seconds left every cowboy in Vegas speechless. Subscribe and comment where you're watching from. Have you ever faced a challenge everyone said was impossible? Let's dive into this incredible story. The Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas buzzed with electricity as the final night of the National Finals Rodeo approached. Neon lights reflected off the polished arena floor while 15,000 spectators filled the stands, their voices creating a thunderous roar that seemed to shake the very foundations of the building. The smell of leather, dust, and anticipation hung thick in the air as cowboys prepared for what many considered the most challenging night in professional rodeo. In the competitors' area behind the chutes, Lane Frost sat quietly on a wooden bench, methodically wrapping his riding hand with athletic tape. At 24, he was one of the youngest riders to make it to the finals, his baby face and quiet demeanor contrasting sharply with the weathered veterans who dominated the sport. His blonde hair peeked out from under his black cowboy hat, and his blue eyes held a focus that seemed to cut through all the chaos around him. "Well, well, look what the wind blew in," came a gravelly voice from across the preparation area. Donnie Gay, the 7-time world champion, stood with his arms crossed, flanked by 3 other veteran riders. Their spurs jingled as they approached, each step deliberate and intimidating. Gay's weathered face bore the scars of countless battles in arenas across the country, and his reputation preceded him wherever he went. "Heard you drew Red Rock tonight, kid," Gay continued, his voice dripping with false sympathy. "That bull sent more cowboys to the hospital than any other animal in this sport. 309 riders have tried to stay on for 8 seconds. 309 have failed." Lane looked up slowly, his hands never pausing in their methodical wrapping. "I know the statistics," he replied calmly, his Oklahoma drawl soft but steady. "But statistics don't ride bulls. Cowboys do." The veterans exchanged glances and chuckled among themselves. "You've got heart, I'll give you that," said Jake Morrison, another seasoned rider. "But heart don't mean much when you're eating dirt and counting stars. Red Rock ain't just any bull. He's a legend killer. Ended more careers than bad knees and broken bones combined." Behind the chutes, Red Rock paced restlessly in his holding pen. The massive Brahma bull stood nearly 6 feet tall and weighed close to 2,000 pounds of pure muscle and rage. His hide was a deep reddish brown that seemed to glow under the arena lights, and his eyes held an intelligence that made even the most experienced stock contractors nervous. Scars crisscrossed his flanks, evidence of the countless battles he'd won against cowboys who thought they could master him. "That animal's got a 6th sense," whispered Tommy Henderson, a bullfighter who'd worked dozens of Red Rock's rides. "He knows exactly when a rider's about to lose balance, and he'll use every trick in the book to put them down hard. Spins left when they expect right, drops his shoulder just as they're finding their rhythm. It's like he can read their minds." Lane stood up from the bench and walked toward the holding pens, his spurs creating a steady rhythm against the concrete floor. As he approached Red Rock's pen, the bull stopped pacing and turned to face him. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, cowboy and bull stared at each other through the steel bars. Neither moved, neither blinked, as if they were sizing up an old adversary they'd never met before. "You're something special, aren't you, big fella?" Lane said quietly, his voice barely audible over the crowd noise. "But so am I." The announcer's voice boomed through the arena speakers, calling the riders to prepare for the final round. As Lane turned away from the pen, Red Rock snorted and pawed at the ground, sending dust swirling in the air. The bull had broken cowboys twice Lane's age and experience, crushed dreams and ended careers without a moment's hesitation. But something about this young cowboy felt different, something that even a legendary bull like Red Rock couldn't quite figure out. The arena lights dimmed as the announcer's voice echoed through the massive venue, introducing each rider with the reverence reserved for gladiators entering the Coliseum. Lane checked his rigging one final time, running his fingers along the braided rope that would be his only connection to the beast beneath him. His heart pounded steadily, but his hands remained rock solid. "Ladies and gentlemen, riding Red Rock tonight from Atoka, Oklahoma, Lane Frost." The crowd's response was mixed. cheers from his growing fan base competing with skeptical murmurs from those who knew Red Rock's reputation. Lane tipped his hat to the crowd before climbing onto the platform above the chute. Red Rock thrashed against the metal walls as the gate crew worked to position him correctly. Each movement of the massive bull sent vibrations through the steel structure, a reminder of the raw power contained within. The bull's eyes rolled wildly as foam gathered around his mouth, and his breathing came in short, aggressive snorts. "Easy, boy," Lane said as he slowly lowered himself onto Red Rock's back. The moment his legs touched the bull's sides, every muscle in the animal's body tensed like a coiled spring. Lane worked his hand into the rigging, weaving the rope between his fingers with the precision of a surgeon. One mistake in the wrap could mean a hand caught in the rope when the ride ended, a potentially career-ending injury. Donnie Gay leaned against the rails nearby, watching with the critical eye of someone who'd seen countless young cowboys face their moment of truth. "Kid's got good form," he admitted grudgingly to Jake Morrison. "But form don't mean nothing when Red Rock starts his hurricane spin." Behind them, a small group of younger cowboys watched intently. Word had spread through the competitors' area about the matchup, and many had abandoned their own preparations to witness what they expected to be either a miracle or a massacre. The energy was electric, charged with the kind of anticipation that only came when something truly special was about to happen. Lane adjusted his position one final time, feeling Red Rock's massive frame beneath him. The bull's hide was warm and surprisingly soft, but every muscle felt like steel cable ready to snap. Lane had ridden hundreds of bulls in his young career, but none had felt quite like this. There was an intelligence in Red Rock's stillness, a calculating patience that spoke of a fighter who knew exactly how to use his weapons. "You ready, cowboy?" asked the gate man, his hand hovering over the latch. Lane nodded once, his jaw set with determination. He raised his free hand high above his head, fingers spread wide to maintain balance. Everything else, the crowd, the lights, the watching cowboys, faded into white noise. In this moment, there existed only a young man from Oklahoma and a legendary bull who'd never been conquered. "Outside!" Lane called, his voice cutting through the arena noise. The gate swung open with a metallic clang that seemed to echo in slow motion. Red Rock exploded from the chute like a force of nature unleashed. His first jump carried him 15 feet into the arena, all four hooves leaving the ground simultaneously as he twisted his body in a violent corkscrew motion that had broken the rhythm of hundreds of riders before. But Lane moved with him, his body flowing like water over the bull's violent movements. The crowd erupted as Red Rock landed and immediately launched into his signature move, a devastating spin to the left that generated G-forces capable of pulling a rider's hand from the rigging. Lane's hat flew off, his blonde hair whipping in the arena air as he fought to maintain his seat. His free arm windmilled for balance while his riding hand held firm in the rigging. Red Rock, sensing his rider's resilience, changed tactics. He stopped spinning abruptly and launched into a series of bone-jarring kicks that sent shockwaves through his massive frame. Each landing threatened to separate Lane from his rigging, but the young cowboy seemed to anticipate every move. 3 seconds felt like 3 hours. 4 seconds brought gasps from the crowd as Red Rock attempted another devastating spin combination. The timer continued its relentless countdown as cowboy and bull battled for supremacy in the dirt. 5 seconds. Red Rock sensed something he'd never encountered before. A rider who wasn't fighting against his movements but flowing with them, reading his intentions like an ancient language. The bull's frustration grew as he launched into his most devastating sequence, a series of belly rolls that had hospitalized his last 12 challengers. Lane's world became a blur of motion and instinct. His body moved independently of conscious thought, muscles memory taking over as he rode not just the bull beneath him, but the very rhythm of chaos itself. His free arm carved patterns in the air, creating a perfect counterbalance to Red Rock's increasingly desperate attempts to unseat him. 6 seconds. The crowd was on its feet, their collective voice creating a wall of sound that seemed to push against the arena ceiling. Even the veteran cowboys behind the chutes had abandoned their skepticism, watching in stunned silence as the young rider from Oklahoma did what no one had done before. Donnie Gay grabbed Jake Morrison's arm, his knuckles white against the metal rail. "I don't believe what I'm seeing," he whispered, That kid's not just riding Red Rock, he's dancing with him. 7 seconds. Red Rock made one final desperate attempt to claim victory. He gathered every ounce of his 2,000-pound frame and launched skyward in a jump that seemed to defy gravity itself. At the peak of his arc, he twisted his body in 3 different directions simultaneously, creating a force that should have sent any rider flying into the arena dirt. But Lane stayed centered, his body moving in perfect harmony with the bull's motion. For a split second at the top of that impossible jump, cowboy and bull seemed suspended in time. A frozen moment of pure athletic poetry that would be talked about for generations. 8 seconds. The buzzer's shrill call cut through the arena noise like a lightning bolt. Lane held on for another full second before throwing his leg over and dismounting cleanly, landing on his feet in the arena dirt as Red Rock continued bucking his way across the ring, seemingly unaware that the battle had ended. The young cowboy raised both arms high above his head, his face breaking into a grin that could have powered the Las Vegas Strip. The arena erupted in a sound unlike anything heard in rodeo before. 15,000 people rose as one, their voices combining in a thunderous ovation that seemed to shake the very foundations of the building. Cowboys poured over the rails, abandoning all pretense of professional composure as they rushed to congratulate the rider who had just accomplished the impossible. Donnie Gay was the first to reach him, his weathered face split by an incredulous smile. "Son," he said, extending his hand, "I've been wrong about a lot of things in my life, but I ain't never been more wrong about anything than I was about you." Lane shook the veteran's hand firmly, respect flowing both ways between old champion and new legend. "Thank you, sir. That means everything coming from you." As the celebration continued around them, Red Rock stood at the far end of the arena, sides heaving from exertion. For the first time in his legendary career, the great bull had met his match. But there was no shame in his defeat, only the recognition that he'd been part of something truly extraordinary. The young cowboy from Atoka, Oklahoma, had not only survived his encounter with legend, he had become one himself. 8 seconds had changed everything, proving that sometimes the biggest heart beats in the youngest chest, and that true champions aren't born from safety, but forged in moments when everything seems impossible. In the world of professional rodeo, Lane Frost had just announced his arrival in the most spectacular way imaginable.